Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Hall. You may call me Dr. Kennard. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. I am sorry to report I have nothing but good news. Nothing but good news today, Andy? Nothing but good news. So if you come here for bad news, this isn't the place for it. Nothing but positive news. But yet the name of this video is Marcus Lamb is dead, right? Is it possible that someone being dead is good news? What would you say, Microphone? Microphone thinks that it's a net positive when some people die. It's a net positive for the rest of us, of course. What are the facts? The facts are that Marcus Lamb is dead. Now, what my argument is that not only is it a good thing, but it's something to celebrate. So many of you know that Marcus Lamb, COVID denier, used his platform over at Daystar. Oh, you don't know who Daystar is. Maybe some of you out there don't know who Daystar is. I see what you did there. Imaginary God out there in the chat. I see what you did. So many of you may not know Marcus Lamb, this gentleman here. You may not know who Daystar is. Daystar is a channel that hosts not only Marcus Lamb show, but also people like Joel Osteen, John Hagee, the Hagee Ministries, and of course, Creflo, please give me more dollar. Daystar is a pox on our country. It is spewing out filth. They are a bunch of grifters that are squeezing the elderly and the desperate out of their money. That's who Daystar is. And of course, Marcus Lamb was the founder and CEO of Daystar. It's a theme here that we target people, or we look at people who use their platforms irresponsibly, right? I'm not looking at you, Joe Rogan. Maybe I am looking at you, Joe Rogan. But Marcus Lamb is a grifter, a con man who got caught up in his own con because he died of COVID. Let's take a look at this story. There's one other thing I want to show you about what kind of scumbag Marcus Lamb is. And it's in a video. It's about what he did with some government money. So let's take a look at this video. And then we'll keep exploring whether or not we should celebrate Marcus Lamb's death. All right, I'm going to hit some buttons awkwardly here for a minute or two, everyone. And we'll see what we can do here. Da, da, da. Okay, that's not working. Maybe I can do this. See, there's been an update to StreamYard, and so the buttons and you would have thought that I would have planned this out possibly a bit more than I have. But okay, so that's the wonders of being a one-man show and being unable to figure out technology or to figure out updates. I need an engineer. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying, Microphone? Yeah, you need an engineer. Okay, so we're just going to skip over the video portion of my argument, of my polemic about why we should celebrate Marcus Lamb's death. And let's just go right into the article here. Links in the description below. Anti-vaccine Christian broadcaster Marcus Lamb dies at 64 after contracting COVID. Lamb's Daystar television network had in recent days asked viewers to pray for his recovery from COVID. Nothing fails like prayer. Nothing fails like prayer. Marcus Lamb, co-founder and CEO of the conservative Christian Daystar television network, who vocally opposed COVID vaccines, has died at the age of 64 weeks after contracting COVID-19, according to the network. It's with heavy heart we announce that Marcus Lamb, president and founder of Daystar television network, went home to be with the Lord this morning, said a tweet Tuesday from the network. The family asks that their privacy be respected as they grieve this difficult loss. Please continue to lift them up in prayer, and please send more money. Because isn't that what grifters do? The sun rises, they ask for money. The sun sets, they ask for money. Someone dies, they ask for money. In July 2020, the Lamb family devoted an hour of their broadcast to censorship around the COVID pandemic, featuring misinformation group America's Frontline Doctors. In May 2021, Daystar broadcast an hour-long program with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose famous family denounced his anti-vaccine views in May 2019, and who was recently banned from Instagram for posting COVID-19 vaccine misinformation. And first, let's remember who Daystar is, right? Daystar Television Network is one of the largest Christian television networks in the land. And American Family Association, a nonprofit Christian organization, said in a lawsuit today that a federal vaccine mandate forcing large companies to require their employees to get COVID-19 vaccinated is a sin against God's holy word. Wow. So they're really going to balls to the wall, I believe is the term, to fight the mandate to get their employees vaccinated. AFA and Daystar believe that if they implement the required vaccine mandate, they will wound the consciences of their employees and potentially cause them to sin. So they are fighting in the courts to keep the right to die. That's what they are. And of course, if you remember the video, what I was going to show you is that Lamb took a bunch of money from the government during the crisis, during the earlier parts of the COVID crisis, took about $4 million, spent it on a private jet, but thankfully he did pay the money back. But so what you would expect from a scammer, right? So I say, and tell me if I'm wrong, chat, observers, lurkers, that Marcus Lamb dying is a good thing. And I want to give you permission right now. You can feel it. Put your hands on the screen, everyone. That's okay to feel good about Marcus Lamb dying. It's okay. All right, I'm going to check out the chat and see what's going on. Wow, a lot of, hey, what's up, Sean? Hope you're doing well. BigZebra.com says he's dead. He's finally escaped from all those dangerous vaccines that have been circulating these days. Indeed, indeed. I find it morbidly poetic when COVID deniers pass from COVID. Indeed, Jessi Bear. You know, and I'll say this, I'll say something positive after I spent the last 8 minutes celebrating Marcus Lamb's death. I'll say one thing about Marcus Lamb is that he said the crazy words, he said the crazy talk, he walked the crazy walk, and he died like a lunatic that he was. Now, there are some people, Republicans, I'm looking at you, who will fan the flames of anti-vaxxers, and yet they have the vaccine. They've already taken the vaccine. Those people are more despicable than Marcus Lamb, in my humble opinion. At least Marcus Lamb died by his twisted and sick and stupid convictions, while the uber grifters in Congress, the Republicans in state houses nationwide, who are fanning the flames of the anti-vax movement, they have their vaccinations, and they're just doing it for political profit. So congratulations, Marcus Lamb. You died like a religious zealot that you are. Dee Parks says, I'm having a hard time caring about these people anymore. You know, if it's the everyday people, who are just trying to get by, who've been fooled by these fools, everyday people, I do feel sad when they die of COVID, and because they've been fooled. They've been taken advantage of by a poor education system. They've been taken advantage of by their religious leaders. But the big grifters, the big con artists, those are the people I'm not shedding a single tear for. No, God equal, no, imaginary God. He was not vaccinated, and he told people not to get vaccinated either. Good morning, Jess M. Good morning, good morning. John Hudson, and of course, Big Zebra's there. Silence of the Lamb. Oh, John Hudson. What? You know, I got to tell you, whenever someone comes up with something clever, and I didn't think up something clever like that, I say, I should have thought of that. That was such a good joke. I should have thought of that. Well done, John Hudson. What's up, Tobin? It's a good morning so far. Once again, you thought that was a good story, which I still contest it is. The second story we're doing, you're going to be like, where are we? Are we in Canada? Are we in Australia? No, we're going to be talking about New York City and a safe injection site, the first one in the United States of America, right there. You know, Simply Secular Dave, if for those of you who are just tuning in, you should take a look at what Simply Secular Dave posted in the chat earlier in the show, because it's just crazy what's going on in terms of the disaster that's up there in Canada in terms of getting goods off of docks due to a natural catastrophe. And take a look at it. All right, I think I caught up with everyone here. And once again, good morning, everyone. Oh, Dr. Mordecai, I see you there. Study shows no benefit of flu shots. Oh, Tyrone. And what's your clever little avatar there? Is it I don't know. It looks very police statey. It looks very police statey, Tyrone. It's funny because whenever you, of course, you know, let's talk about scholarly consensus for a minute. And I'll talk to Tyrone here. I'll give him like 2 seconds. You know, there's something about the scholarly consensus, and we've talked about this a bunch of times, is that when you put up nonsense like this, like ivermectin works, no peer-reviewed study shows it works. Hydrochloroquine, no peer-reviewed study works. Prayer, no peer-reviewed study shows that prayer works. You know, so what you're doing is spreading misinformation. So I just think you're a useful fool, to tell you the truth. You're probably, because you're just a peon here. And I'm not saying that I'm not a peon either, but Tyrone, you're just a peon who's been misinformed. Well, I am a peon who's been properly informed. Okay, on that note, let's do some cats, everyone. Okay, I promised you another positive story. Let's do another positive story, everyone. New York City is funding America's first official safe injection site for drug users. As the U.S. reaches new terrible milestones in the overdose of deaths, a harm reduction system that has proven itself elsewhere finally, I'm going to emphasize that word, finally, launches where it's needed the most. Thank my fucking frictitious God. And frictitious is freaking, and fictitious, of course. So that's frictitious. I was hoping that the city here, Somerville, Massachusetts, would be the country's first safe injection site. New York, you beat us to it. I also heard that Providence, Rhode Island might be doing a safe injection site too. But I was hoping we'd be the first, but New York took it away from us. God damn you, New York. Links in the description below, everyone. New York City is giving its blessing to safe consumption sites where intravenous drug users will be able to inject without fear of arrest and with the knowledge that medical professionals will respond in cases of overdose. These sites will be the first publicly funded facilities of their kind to operate in the United States of America. Outgoing Mayor Bill de Blasio and the city's health department announced the move this morning, which was yesterday. The consumption sites will be found at locations where needle exchange services are already provided by nonprofit groups. Sites in East Harlem and Washington Heights are set to open their doors to users as early as today. They will provide clean needles to users, while staff will be on hand to administer naloxone, a drug used to reverse opioid overdoses. Users will have to provide their own illegal drugs. So they are using the infrastructure that's already there. They're using needle sites where you can get clean needles. They're using those for safe injection sites too. That makes sense, right? New York City will not be running the consumption centers. Instead, they'll be funding them, but they will not be run. I just want to editorialize there. New York City won't be running them directly, but they will be funding them. Instead, two nonprofits who currently run the needle injection programs have joined up to form an organization called On Point New York City, which will also run safe consumption sites. These nonprofits receive city funding. Safe consumption sites, also called safe injection sites, have been operating in Canada and Australia for years. Let me say it again for all of you who are new here from the States, who think America is the best at everything. Safe consumption sites, also called safe injection sites, have been operating in Canada and Australia for years. While New York City will be the first U.S. city to offer these services, San Francisco, Seattle, and Philadelphia also have plans in the works. All of these cities have seen increasing rates of public use of injected drugs such as heroin, as well as high rates of overdoses and overdose deaths. New York City reported more than 2,000 drug overdose deaths in 2020. The U.S. as a whole has also seen a record number of overdose deaths, more than 93,000 for 2020. Who would be against safe injection sites? Who would be against harm reduction policies? Who, microphone? What? Evangelicals who believe that we're all just sinners in the hands of an angry God? Maybe those people would be against safe injection sites. I think that's a safe bet. Microphone. Given such numbers, safe consumption sites are necessary and long overdue harm reduction measure, properly focused on keeping drug users alive rather than waging a punitive and failed drug war. The AMA supports the use of safe consumption sites, noting earlier this year that not a single overdose death has been reported in the 120 safe consumption sites operating elsewhere in the world. That is precisely because health professionals at those sites are prepared to respond to emergencies. Not one death at a safe injection site, everyone. Good job, New York City. Fighting the good fight against overdose deaths, but as well as stupidity. All right. Let's see. What do you think about this, everyone? I would say that it's somewhat obvious that safe injection sites, we've been talking about that off and on over the last year or two that we've been doing this show, about how necessary it is to have safe injection sites. All right, let's check out what's going on. If prayer works so well, why do religious people keep going to doctors? Oh, I'm sure if there was I'm sure among some QAnon folks, Sean, it's because the reptilians. I don't have to say anything else. It's because the reptilians. You need a happy today, Cryptameria. Well, hey, nothing but good news. Nothing but good news. We got cats. We have a safe injection site. Will the safe injection site have cats in it? Probably not, because it might get in the way of the safe injections. It might get in the way of the kitties. Harm reduction for the win. That's right. Big zebra. Jessi Bear. I will never understand how society went from polio vaccine is a blessing to I'm going to take horse dewormer instead of a safe vaccine for a virus. Like what the actual fuck. It's important to note that Marcus Lamb did try ivermectin. He did use hydrochloroquine, whatever that name is, right? It was the pre-ivermectin, ivermectin. I'm sure he took a lot of a lot of vitamins too, Marcus Lamb. He did everything except the one thing that he needed to do, which was get the vaccine. Did I just chat on Canada? No, I'm saying nothing but good things about Canada. We're just trying to catch up to Canada. That's all. And Australia too, by the way, because we're getting, in the case you're just tuning in now, the United States of America, we're getting our first safe injection site. Sean says it's about time. Drug addiction needs to be treated as a public health issue and not a criminal issue. This is true. Quite true. Recovery is possible if a person can live long enough to do it. Yeah, it is difficult. It's a difficult road, definitely. I used to volunteer at a substance abuse information line. It wasn't a chat line. It was more about just setting people up with services. So people would call in. I'd have the database. Most people were looking for beds, like free detoxes. And, you would tell them, it's like, well, this is where you go for a free bed. They seem to have free beds open right now, a free bed open. Cryptameria. So far in 2021, more than 1,500 people have died from overdosing, according to British Columbia's chief coroner. Wow. Yeah, Jessi Bear. I hope you and your family are doing well. I know that you have that you're dealing with COVID right now. Laughing. Simply Secular Dave goes, every time you say Canada, I make a wish that a hot cup of coffee lands on your lap. Oh, what is it? Tim Hortons? Is it the Revenge of Hortons? Is that what it is? The curse? Okay, there's more. Oh, wow. We're almost done with the show. How did we almost? Well, I was talking about Marcus Lamb quite a bit. Talking about Marcus Lamb. What was the last story? All right. One last bit of fun, everyone. A little bit, not really fun, but the fact that governments are getting tired of people, of the unvaccinated. Greece will mandate the COVID-19 vaccine for anyone over 60 or make them pay fines. Links are in the description. Because we're running close down on time, we're wrapping up. Greece is going to be fining people over 60 100 euros a month if they don't get the vaccine. Now, you may say 100 euros probably isn't a lot of money, but the average pension in Greece is 700 and something euros. So you're paying 1/7 of your check from the government in fines for not getting vaccinated if you're over 60, you're retired. So that is a significant fine that Greece is doing. So there needs to be incentives and there needs to be consequences. You need to have incentives for people to get the vaccine, and you need consequences for those who don't get the vaccine. And Greece seems to be getting tough on people who are anti-vaxxers. Thank you, YouTube members. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, people who toss me a couple of shekels every once in a while. I appreciate it. Oh, do I have another? This is one bit. Once again, there are no ads, but here's like less than a 30-second ad for the new design I did. Bad day drinking is better than a good day at church. What? A bad day drinking is better than a good day at church? Yeah, I'd say it is. Link to the shirt is in the description below, everyone. And that's the most ads you're ever going to see here on this show. All right. More cats? You want to do more cats? Let's do more cats. Quick.
Despite being huge and having the ability to open canned goods, humans are frail in both body and mind, and we must care for them.
Oh, British short-haired cat, we are frail in body and in mind. You have it spot on. You're going to check out the chat. What, did I tell you that we're doing the after party after show at 9:30? After party after show. You want to be on the panel? If we know you, if you're part of the community, if someone here can vouch for you, then you can join us. All right. Grant Farmer says, good morning, Grant. You can do wine shots at many churches. True that. True that. All right. We're going to throw down the thank you video, and I'll see you all at 9:30. And if not 9:30, then I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.